They say that you're never as good as you think and never as bad as you think, and I definitely felt like tonight we're definitely not as good as we think. Herbert did not play well tonight, and I think in large part because he was pressured all night. There's an NGS stat that says Dafe Owe generated 6 pressures and a sack on 26 pass rushes, 23%, his third straight game with 6 or more pressures. After creating just 17 pressures over the first 9 weeks of the season, Owe has accumulated 18 total pressures over the past 3 weeks. Owe took advantage of his matchups against Chargers fullback Scott Matlock, generating the pressure in all 3 matchups. Hamilton aligned to safety on 49 of his 60 snaps on Monday night, 81%, his first game over 80% since week 7. He excelled in coverage, being targeted as the nearest defender 0 times on 44 coverage snaps, the most snaps without a target of his career. If you look at the total amount of QB hits, Ravens had 7, all from different players. If you look at their sacks, they had 4, all from different players. It seemed like they blitzed a lot or were simulating blitzes, and they knew exactly who they were up against. They knew exactly who Greg Roman is. They knew exactly who Bozeman is. They knew where our vulnerabilities were, and they exploited them. And Herbert was uncomfortable all night. They turned him into a check down merchant. He was checking down when he had plenty of time, wasn't comfortable, didn't seem he was comfortable in what he was seeing. Don't get me wrong, he made some really great throws, especially right before the half, but it seemed like it was another second half stinker by Greg Roman, throwing some goal balls. Again, I don't understand why we throw those. They're a low percentage play, and we failed to run the ball in the second half when JK went out. Just didn't seem like the first drive looked great, and Herbert made some great throws before the half to give us that field goal. Then after that, it seemed like we didn't have an answer. We didn't know what we were calling, couldn't run the ball, and that's why Greg Roman is no longer with the Ravens. So I think the Chargers need to find a new offensive coordinator after this year. It was a good try. I think we've had some success this year, but they need to find someone who's more capable of making adjustments and being able to adjust on the fly, scheme up things, and has better preparation, because I think tonight was a lack of not being able to adjust on the fly and have answers to what the Ravens were throwing at us. So I think this first clip kind of says it all. You see, we were dedicating 2 blockers to Matabuike. The edge rusher on the edge gets hooked by Zahn. He gets called for holding. They do a cross on Alt Pipkins. Pipkins doesn't pick up the cross, and Herbert gets sacked. Second clip, they show a bunch of people at the line. They drop 3. It's a 4-man rush. Haskins does a good job picking up the guy on the edge. The other edge comes free. Herbert steps up, evades the pressure. Pipkins is not blocking the guy who makes the tackle, or the guy that forces Herbert to get tackled into the other guy. Here's another play. Herbert checks down to, there's no pressure, okay, and he throws it a bad ball, which is thrown. This probably could have been considered a backwards pass, which is, not only are you throwing to a running back that's not known for catching the ball, but it's thrown behind, and that could have been disastrous. And then this next clip, it's a 2nd and 17. Herbert checks it down. Why? I don't understand why he's checking down. He has plenty of time. Looks like Palmer might have been open right there. So next clip, Herbert is not being pressured. The blocking's great, and for some reason he escapes the pocket, throws on the run, and then Palmer gets a pass interference against the defender, which they picked up, or actually it was offsetting. They call a hold on Pipkins, and it doesn't look like it was a hold at all. Here you can see the pressure they generated in the interior. Herbert has to get it out, which is kind of a late ball, if you ask me. I mean, he probably should have gotten this out much sooner. QJ is probably expecting the ball to get there much sooner, and he takes his eye off the ball and he drops it. Not making excuses for QJ, but if Herbert gets his ball out earlier, maybe he won't feel as uncomfortable catching his ball, thinking that there's a defender coming up to hit him. But you also see McConkey, looks like he's open at the top, so it looked like Herbert was very uncomfortable all night. Rightfully so. Here, McConkey is unable to secure this catch. It's called incomplete. Doesn't get the other foot down. Then we call a go ball for some reason. I don't know why we try to throw these. Here's another clip. It's a stunt. Pipkins doesn't pick it up. I don't know how many times I've seen that. And, that's former Charger Kyle Van Noy that Brandon Staley got rid of, who's playing very well for the Ravens. I'm sure Kyle Van Noy knew exactly the player that Herbert is. There's another PI penalty that got picked up. Yeah.